welcome back to another episode of Kinda Unamused. Today, I am here with
Heaven.
Yay! Once again. Heaven came over for no real reason.
Yeah. Maddie got back from Texas, and I was like, okay, I'm coming now.
Speaking of Texas, I want to talk a little bit about my trip. I mainly wanted to talk about my actual, trip, as in, the airport.
I have never been to an airport, so I really can't contribute to this conversation.
This will be brief. This will be brief.
Maddie got me a Bucky shirt while she was in Texas. That's all I can contribute to.
I also got a magnet and a shot glass and some candy from Bucky's.
Which you still have on the floor somewhere.
Which I've been eating.
I've noticed.
Yeah, because it's good. I like it. That's not nice. I like sour candy.
Yeah, too sour for me. Those Sour Punch red straws.
Those are good.
They're bad and good.
Okay, I will agree with that.
I can only have a couple at a time. But I had blue ones of those recently, and they were pretty good.
The blue ones are pretty good, but they're not usually sold in the big packs.
I like the rainbow ropes the rainbow rope ones that you get too.
The rainbow sour punch.
They're
the Airheads.
They're are they actually Airhead brand? I didn't think you got
the Airhead brand. Oh, no, I don't know what that brand is called.
I don't know.
But they changed it recently, right?
Yeah. I liked the new version better than the old version too. And I ate the whole bag because Maddie did not like them.
They're disgusting. They taste like plastic. So she
gave them to me, and I ate all of them.
They taste like plastic.
You are literally lying.
No, wait. Okay, hold this.
She's lying. They do not taste like plastic.
Yes, they do.
Maybe you taste like plastic.
This is the brand. It's called Sour Strips. It's sold at Target. I've also seen it at Hobby Lobby and stuff. Yeah, they're starting to be sold more in other places, but at first I could only find them at Target. This is it. These are probably actually pretty bad because I've had them for a long time. This is the original version. If you know it's the original version, because the outside is green. The new version, you see red on the outside. That means it's the plasticky kind. Because they made it look more like a rainbow. They did rainbow colors, so it's red, yellow, green, blue. This is green, yellow, red, blue. It's the better one.
She's so dramatic. They almost barely taste different. I would say that the difference is that the red outside ones are sweeter and the green ones are more sour.
They're also thicker. The new ones are thicker. Okay. I went from Buffalo, New York to Chicago to DFW. I had to wake up at, I think the first time it was at 4 a.m. to then catch a 4:40 Uber to then go to the airport. I wanted to get there around 5. I have never been to the Buffalo airport before, so I got there 2 hours early. My flight was at 7 a.m., but I wanted to get there at 5 because if you've been to an airport, if you got on a trip, you got to be there, you have to be there at least an hour and a half earlier because security and whatever it's called, check, TSA, whatever. Yes. That can take a very long time, especially if it's really busy. So you got to go through that, and then you also have to take time to find your gate. So I got there really early. It took me 3 minutes to get through security and an extra 5 minutes to find my gate. So I was there really early. I also live only 8 minutes away from the airport. So I was at the airport before 5 a.m. But anyway, so the first flight was fine on the way to Chicago. I just slept the entire time because it was very tired. And then I got to Chicago, and I still need to freaking look this up, but I'm pretty sure that airport is the airport in Home Alone. So I was kind of fangirling, just walking through the airport. How can you fangirl over an airport? I have no idea, but I felt like I was at a special location.
You felt like you were in the movie.
Yeah. If I'm right about that. If not, then that's really embarrassing. But it just looked like it. I could be wrong. Anyway, so I had a layover for 2 hours or something like that. So I had plenty of time to get from gate to gate. I was really close to my gate for my next flight, and I was just able to chill. I talked to this random girl who went to Lollapalooza.
You didn't tell me she went to Lollapalooza.
Well, I'm sorry. She asked me. She's like, "So are you coming from Lollapalooza?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to be ashamed. I had no idea what that was. I know what it is, but I completely forgot."
Chappell Roan.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I would give anything to go to Lollapalooza. It's like Chicago Coachella.
Yeah.
It slays so bad. I want to go real bad.
Yeah.
I'd honestly rather go to Lollapalooza than Coachella.
That's true.
Coachella seems more stressful, I feel like, because like Lollapalooza is like a little bit smaller from what I've gathered. Like, because Coachella is multiple weekends, and then there's like multiple different stages for you to go see different people and everything like that. So from what I've gathered, Lollapalooza is like a little bit smaller of that. It's like I think like only one person is on at a time. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know that much about music festivals, but I usually like the people that headline Lollapalooza more than I like the people that headline Coachella. Although I feel like this year Coachella was really good. And a couple years ago Harry Styles headlined Coachella and I wanted to die real bad. Like I was like I need to be there. This is so not fair.
Yeah, so she went to Lollapalooza, asked me if I went. I was like, no, I'm just coming from boat. This is a layover. And then she decided to tell me her, not her life story, that's dramatic, but her like college experience because she was also my age, and I totally lied to her on accident. She asked, like, I did not mean to lie to her about this, but she said, so, like, what year are you in? And I was like, I only have a semester left of college. Why did I say that?
You definitely have two, but
I
that's
have
okay.
a whole year. I don't know what was going through my brain. I don't know what was going on.
If Damon took all my credits and I didn't flunk a semester, I would graduate in a semester, but that's okay.
But anyway, so she's from Fort Worth, went to Lollapalooza in Chicago, but she goes to school in, I'm trying to remember, near New York City. So that was an interesting experience. And then I go on my second flight to DFW. I was all the way in the back because cheap seats. I was all the way in the back, and I forgot the back is where the families are. I think in my last episode I mentioned that I was going to be in the back, and I haven't been in the back in years, not since I went flying with my family, because the back is where the families go. The back is where the children go. I don't know why that is the way it is, but that's definitely the way it is.
See, I didn't know that, or I would because if you had mentioned that to me, I like that because I don't think I caught it when I watched your last episode. But if you had said that, it would have been like, oh, you're in the family section. Good luck.
I was in the aisle. I was in the aisle seat on the right side of the plane. Sitting next to me was this grown man, and then next to him was this toddler. She had to been like 2. Okay? Terrible 2s. She was sitting there in her little car seat thing, screaming at the top of her lungs. And then on the other side of me was another man whom I originally thought was the other kid's dad, but I think he was a me situation. Like he was by himself, stuck in the back. Next to him was a woman of some sort. I couldn't tell if she was at first I thought she was a teenager. She might have been a teenager, like sitting next to her sister or something, or a mom, I don't know. And then next to her was another like toddler. And when we got onto the plane, they were laughing, crying, complaining, whatever. Once the actual flight started, after about 10 minutes, they started to calm down because they were able to watch their Bluey. That's what the girl next to me was watching. Dad! Bingo! Bluey!
I actually love Bluey real bad.
And then in front of me was like 3 other kids who belonged to who I have absolutely no idea. And they were watching something that I recognized, but I kind of forgot. It might have been Bluey as well. But anyway, we start the flight. They were fine. Then we land. We land in DFW. And then they all started screaming on the top of their lungs. Screaming, crying. And they wouldn't stop. And since I'm in the very back of the plane, you get let off last, obviously. So I was standing there, like, I have a video of it. Here's the video. Yeah, it was very bad.
Very intense.
It was really intense.
Personally,
They sounded like they were getting murdered.
Yeah, they did. Personally, I think that if your child is at the age where, like, I feel like from 2 to like maybe 6-ish, if they're at the age where they scream like that, it is inconsiderate to everyone else to bring your children on airplanes. Like, genuinely, like, you shouldn't be. I don't even think that, like, babies like that should be even in, like, movie theaters or anything like that either. Like, genuinely, it is so inconsiderate to other people, because who wants to be flying, like all day long and hear a child screaming for multiple hours?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if like obviously whenever I was flying with my family, I was a lot younger and I have little siblings. So, I guess whenever I was little, I never really noticed that much because I'm so used to kids crying all the time. But I feel like I know at some situations like you have to bring your kid. Not everyone is
Lucky
has
enough.
the luxury to keep their kid at home. But I feel like if you are going to bring your kid and spend so much money on your kid, coming with you to wherever you're going, then you kind of need to figure something out to where you can distract the kid or do something about their sleep schedule to where they will automatically like be
Plop.
asleep the entire time.
Genuine, like, a lot of the time that people do bring their kids, it's like for like vacation type stuff too, and I'm like, how are, like, if they're that young, how are they even gonna like fully enjoy themselves? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're not even gonna remember it.
Yeah.
Like, I personally don't think that, like if you're gonna do like Disney or something, you should wait till the kid is old enough to remember it.
Yes.
Like, I don't
I
think your
agree with
parents
that
should have
too.
brought you to Disney.
Yeah, but for like my trips, whenever we did fly, it was to go see family
Mm-hmm.
that lived in other states across the country. So but the thing with my parents, the way that they would prep us, like back then, iPad kids were not a thing. Like you don't just have an iPad to distract. That's what the dad next to me was trying to do, give this kid an iPad and hope that she was going to be okay. But she kept on throwing the iPad down. I mean, had a really protective case on it. She just was not feeling like she's like you could tell she was in distress, like she needed something that she wasn't getting. With my family, cuz it's me and then my three younger sisters, so there's four of us. For a period of time it was just three cuz Tessie wasn't born yet for a good portion of the time that we did travel. I think she only ever went on a plane once before this past time around. But my mom would create little like kind of like gift bags. She would she would get like a paper bag or something and then buy things for us to do on the plane. So there would be like little toys that we could play with on like the little tray tables, and then she also gave us drawing things, like those markers where like they're invisible, so if they draw on anything else it won't make a stain, but on the specific paper.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. She gave us like stuff like that, or those like ones where you kind of like scratch it and it becomes colorful underneath. I loved those things. So we got distracted with that, and so I don't know if there was like I said, I don't know if there was TVs and stuff like on the seats because not every plane has that. So my mom, she brought those, I don't know what they're called.
Are they like the little computer type things that you put the disc in and then
Yeah.
it plays the
Yes.
movie? I know exactly what
We
you're talking
brought
about.
that with us. We would bring that little DVD player type thing with us. It was tiny. We would always place it on my little stand and we would all watch it. Because it would be like me and all my sisters sitting next to each other. My parents would sit on the other side. We would also bring like snacks and stuff with us. And we each got to bring like 2 movies. Like 2 DVDs with us for the flight there and the flight back. And I don't like, maybe Scarlett was kind of like whining sometimes, but London would pass out. Like we were pretty well behaved, and I think it's because we were given the things too that we knew that my mom knew that we would like, and it would be like because we would also be told that like this is a fun experience. Like you're going to have fun on this trip. It's going to be a little cramped, but you're gonna have these toys. You're gonna have these chips that you never get. Like we're gonna give you this stuff
So
to
like
make
more of
it
a treat to do
feel
it.
like a treat. Yeah. But these kids these kids that I'm sitting next to are screaming and crying because they don't want to be sitting there anymore. They only have this one iPad that they've been staring at for 2 hours.
Yeah, and like you can't, like, even like as an adult, like having like my phone, like I can do whatever I want on the internet. Eventually I still get bored, like, and I want to go do something else.
And like obviously they're uncomfortable and stuff.
Yeah.
And the girl that was sitting next to me, like she was sitting there the entire time, and then finally once the plane landed, the dad like held her. But I'm like, at this age I feel like the kids still have like, because they were young, I'm like they might still have like binkies or something that gives them comfort, but this kid had nothing except this iPad, and I felt kind of bad about it. But
Yeah, no. Me personally, I'm gonna need that stuffy. Bare minimum. Bare minimum I need Mr. Bunny. My old ratty ass stuffed animal.
Yeah. But anyway, so besides that, the flight was fine. Texas itself was fine. I was gonna say I didn't do a whole lot, but I actually was busy the entire time.
You just like did like a lot of like shopping type stuff, I feel like.
I did do a lot of shopping and I bought nothing. I pretty much bought nothing besides that shirt
And the magnets.
and the stuff at Buc-ee's. But I went to Buc-ee's. I got all of the fast food that I wanted. I got Panda Express. I got In-N-Out.
She sent me a photo of that Panda Express and it genuinely looked like throw up to me.
It was a really bad photo. No, but the food
looked like throw up.
It was so good.
I don't believe you. I genuinely, until I try Panda Express, because I've never had it, it looks like barf to me, and it always has.
So good.
I feel like there used to be one in Syracuse. Like I feel like I remember there being one when I was younger, but I could be lying. Don't quote me on that. Sometimes I'd be lying, like, and not realizing. Like I thought there was a Barnes and Noble. There used to be a Barnes and Noble in our mall for like the longest time, and then they got rid of it. But I found out it was actually a completely different bookstore. Like there was a bookstore there, but it was completely different. It was called like Borders or something. But now we're getting a Barnes and Noble, so there's that.
Slay. But yeah, I got Panda Express, I got In-N-Out, I got Culver's, I got Bahama Bucks, and Dutch Bros. So I wanted 5 things, and I got all 5 things. I'm very proud of myself because I did not think I was going to be able to get all of them. But I was good at convincing other people to either take me there or let me take the car to go get it. I was just really hot there. It was in the hundreds the majority of the trip, which is unfortunate. It rained once. It wasn't on the forecast. It just rained.
What sucks for you is we had a pretty gnarly storm while you were gone. Because there was a hurricane down at the bottom of New York and like over like towards like the more coastal states on the East Coast, and the like rain and stuff traveled up to us, so we got like a storm for a couple days.
I like storms. But yeah, so and then I had my flight back here, which wasn't as bad. I was really freaking nervous to get into DFW because if you know about freaking DFW, you know that thing is huge and it is chaotic and it is stressful. Once again, I had an early flight at 7 a.m. I had to wake up at 3:50, be ready to leave by 4:30. And then the drive from where we live to DFW is like 40-ish minutes or something like that. Got to the airport. Thankfully, my gate was not very crowded. Like the area, not the gate. The terminal was not very crowded. So I was able to get through security pretty quickly. I got to my gate relatively fast. And once again, the first flight, I slept the entire time. I was so tired, and I was also very cold. I was freezing. I was like literally shivering. I was so cold. So whenever I got to Chicago, I only had an hour layover this time around, and my flight was kind of late into letting us out of the plane. So it ate 20 minutes into my time. I was in Terminal C, but I had to get all the way to Terminal F. And on my app, it said it was like almost a 30-minute walk. So I was speed walking to this freaking terminal because I'm not going to miss my flight. But I also wanted to go to the restroom, 1. And 2, I wanted to get by a sweater because I was so cold. And I knew that I was going to come back here to Buffalo. And I'm going to be cold here because I'm going from 100 degrees to 70 degrees. And that's a pretty big jump.
And it's chilly this week.
Yeah. So I really quickly bought a sweater that I only kind of like, but I only bought it because it was only $20.
It's ugly.
Ran back to my gate. I changed, went to the restroom, ran to my gate, and then I only had 5 minutes till we boarded. And then during that flight, it was a really small plane to where it's only 2 on each side instead of 3. And I was sitting next to a smelly guy that was wearing a suit. Anyway, I made it back here. Wait for my Uber.
Speaking of my bus trip, so I had my grandfather bring me to the bus station because my mom and my stepdad took my sister to the zoo. And so we get there almost 20 minutes early. Like it's like I think it was probably like 18 to 20 minutes early. and we're sitting there, and then we're waiting, we go up, there's a bus out front, we ask where the bus is going. That bus is going to New York City. Okay, and I'm like, okay, that's not where I'm going. I'm going to Buffalo. So then we wait a
Imagine if
while.
you jumped on that bus.
I was like, "Ooh," I would have been miserable. I would have been like, but they scanned tickets, so I wouldn't have been able to get on it anyway. But so then we're waiting, and then like 5:15 rolls around, and I'm like, let me check my email and see if they emailed me anything. They emailed me after I had already been at the place for like 10 minutes. They emailed me and we're like, hey, your bus is delayed. So I had to wait until 6 for the bus to get here. So then I ended up getting here at almost 9 instead of closer to 8, which was like originally where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to get here like 8:10, and then I got here at like 8:35, 8:40. I was fuming. And me and my grandparents had to sit in the car in a thunderstorm. Like me and my grandparents were watching the lightning. So that was unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and the bus sucked. There wasn't even a plug socket. So my phone almost died.
Boo.
I'm like, the seats were nice, but there's no plug socket, so it immediately ruined how I feel about the bus. I was like, ooh, girl, this is nice. This all you. And then I was like, oh, there's no plug socket.
Never mind, this place sucks. That lasted a little bit longer than I thought it was going to.
As always.
Yeah, so today we actually wanted to talk about the
D23, all the announcements that they made of stuff that is going to be coming in the next couple years.
Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of list off all the things that they did announce, and then we'll talk about the ones that we actually care about. Was Moana 2.
Then was Snow White.
Then Incredibles 3.
Then Toy Story 5.
Then Frozen 3.
Then Zootopia 2.
Then Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
Then Agatha All Along.
Then The Fantastic Four.
Daredevil Born Again.
Avatar Fire and Ash.
Tron, what does that say? Aries.
The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Percy Jackson, The Olympian, Season 2.
Then Dream Productions, which is an Inside Out show.
And then they announced A Villain World.
Yes, they announced 2 parks, I think. One was The Villains, which I am like so pumped for that. I think that's really freaking cool.
Maddie forgot to put the movie on here that I actually was going to talk about.
What?
The Mufasa movie.
Oh, for some reason I thought I wrote that down, but I guess I didn't. But yeah, the Mufasa movie, and then they're also doing a Monsters Inc. world. I think it's a world. If it's not a world, it's at least a portion of a world.
That sounds exciting. I love Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
I named my cat after Sully, so.
Anyway, so Heaven wanted to talk about Mufasa specifically.
Yeah, so they released, because it was already like a rumor, and it was like confirmed that it was gonna come out, I think at the end of this year, if not at the beginning of next year.
It's been like a thing for a while, because I work in a movie theater, and there is a poster.
There's always trailers. When the last time we went to the movies, there was a trailer for it.
Yeah.
I think when we saw Twisters, there was a trailer for it.
There is indeed a poster of the Mufasa movie. I don't know.
Can you get it for me?
I don't know about that.
Anyways, so they released like full trailer, like not just a teaser, and apparently the movie is going to be about like Scar and Mufasa's storyline. In the plot line, it used to be something different. It's now Mufasa was adopted by Scar, saved him and had made his pride adopt Mufasa, and then Mufasa becomes king. So then what that led me to down the path of is that they are now trying to, sympathize with the villain. And I think that that's a trend in movies nowadays, is like anytime there's a movie out, like even if it's like our generation, for lack of a better word, like they'll go back and watch old media and they'll find like reasons for the villains to be the way that they are, instead of just like I feel like it gets rid of the, like there's like an underlying thing that some people are just evil, and I feel like it gets rid of that life lesson to a degree. Because it totally makes sense why Scar was the way that he was, if he adopted this baby lion, like he as his baby brother, and then all of a sudden he gets to be king, even though Scar was set to be king.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sure that in the movie, like, Scar does something wrong or something, and then their
Or Mufasa
dad
does something good.
Yeah, and the dad's like, "Oh, you don't deserve it."
Well, I remember, I don't know if I had it or if I read it like somewhere. There was a book made by Disney after the first Lion King came out about Mufasa and Scar growing up together, and they were blood brothers in this book. And Mufasa was always set to be king. And then I'm looking for this book on the internet, and all of a sudden I can't find it. So
Well, because they're freaking changing the story.
and they're changing the story to sympathize with Scar, and I'm like, why are you doing that? I don't understand. Like, even like taking it from the lens of like Harry Potter, before everyone was just like Snape's a bad guy, like whatever, and now everybody's like like making it like a race thing because apparently he's like more predominantly Jewish looking, and they're like finding like reasons to like sympathize with him,
excuse it.
to excuse the fact that he bullied children. He was Neville's biggest fear. I feel like they don't acknowledge that enough. He was so mean to poor little Neville that he was Neville's biggest fear.
Yeah, that Neville was terrified of him at the age of
11, 12.
No,
he was 13.
It's the
It's the third book.
So yeah,
He's 13 because it's in Prisoner of Azkaban when Lupin is the Defense of the Dark Arts teacher. So I just was not thrilled when I watched it. So I was like, I kind of feel like now they're sympathizing with villains who, when we were younger, we never sympathized with. Like when the movie first came out, like
yeah, that's
Scar was
true.
always just a bad guy.
They also did that with Maleficent in the Maleficent movies. So I actually do like the Maleficent movies just because it's a pretty well made movie. But like Maleficent is a very evil fairy. You know, in the original Sleeping Beauty, she literally curses a infant because she's pissed off that she didn't get invited to a party. That's pretty bad, in my opinion. And she's also, you know, a dragon and kills a bunch of people, and you know, she's not a good person. But in the Maleficent movie, they do a backstory. They do the Maleficent's story, which I'm sure they just made this up. I don't think this was actually a part of like the original like Grimm's brothers or whatever.
I was just about to ask that because a lot of Disney stories are based on the Grimm brothers' original tales. I was gonna ask.
No,
if you
I don't even know if
it.
Maleficent is even in the Grimm's brothers. If I'm
not
being
sure.
honest.
I was just gonna ask.
No, she might. No, I think she would have been, but I don't know if it's like the same type. Anyway, but in the Maleficent movie, she's a fairy. She has wings. They're like these really cool, like feathered wings. She's kind of like a princess type protector of this mystical forest. And then she meets this human. And this human is a prince of the human side of the world. They're young whenever they meet. They're like 15 or something, and they fall in love with each other, and they are together, like secretly meeting each other for years until she's like in her late teens or something like that. And he finds out that she is kind of allergic to iron, because he was going to give her his ring, but it was metal or whatever. So something happened whenever he went back home that his family or something realized what he was doing and was kind of like hanging over his like ruler duties or something. Like something happened to where he came back, knocked Maleficent out like she was asleep, and then chopped off her wings.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remembered briefly them saying, like, I remember hearing that her wings got cut off in the movie.
That scene itself is very painful, which definitely makes you feel for her. Like she was bamboozled, and a part of her body was taken away from her, like very much so.
I'm sure that was physically painful.
Yeah, like she woke up and her entire back was just bleeding because they were bones. Like he cut bones off of her body. Like it was really intense. And then that man ended up being Sleeping Beauty's dad.
Oh,
yeah.
Like I knew that they like made her gain sympathy, but I didn't know how exactly they did it.
And then whenever she did the whole cursing of Aurora, when the three fairies took Aurora to stay with them at their house, their whatever, Maleficent was actually taking care of her. She was overseeing her, making sure that she was like okay or whatever. Because the fairies, they were kind of stupid. They weren't really paying that much attention to the baby. So Maleficent kind of raised her to a degree in the movie, at least. It was kind of odd, but that's why her and Maleficent in the movie, and at least this movie, they have like a connection. And then in like in that movie, the actual bad guy are her parents. So like it's just another case of turning the actual villain into someone that you're rooting for.
Yeah, and I think that in some instances that's okay, because like some people genuinely do become evil or become the abuser because they were abused. But I think in a lot of instances, a lot of people are just evil.
Yeah. I think that it's okay. Like, if that was Maleficent's original story, then okay, fine. Then yes, that's a valid point to be pissed off. But in the original Sleeping Beauty, there was nothing like that. There was no sympathy. Sleeping Beauty didn't care for Maleficent like she does in the Maleficent movie. So I think that there needs to be more balance. There needs to, like, kids nowadays need to know that evil is out there. And not everyone can be excused for being evil or being a bad person. Just because they were hurt when they were young does not mean it's okay for them to go and kill a bunch of people. Because it's not.
Well said.
Thank you.
I will start with a preface that I have a extreme bias towards Rachel Zegler.
Mm-hmm.
I am utterly in love with that woman.
Yes.
I saw Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and it was over in love with her.
Yes.
I watched that movie like 7 times because of her.
Yes, and she is going to be the new Snow White. Whenever this was originally rumored, people were not feeling it, and I think for some decent reasoning to a degree, just because the character Snow White is very pale. Like, her name is Snow White because her skin is as white as snow. So you'd think, she would be a white person of some degree. I think it's German, I think is what it was originally originated from.
I'm not sure on that one. I wasn't really ever a big fan of the Snow White story.
I think it is. If it's not, I'll put the information on the screen for the video listeners. Rachel Zegler
is Colombian.
Is not white. Yeah, she's not really, she's not dark, but she's not white.
Like you can tell that she like is at least a descendant of like a Spanish speaking country.
Yes. For a while I feel like people weren't really sure if this movie was going to happen because people were just not for it. But it's happening. It's officially happening. During this, announcement, they released the trailer for it.
Again, like I said, I love Rachel Zegler, and I probably will go watch the movie because I love her.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair is not it. I'm sorry. They did her so they did her so dirty.
So dirty. It
like
looks
she's a very pretty
so
person,
bad.
but she just doesn't look great.
I don't know what they were doing. Like,
it looks like crunchy. Like it kind of looks like black ramen.
It does. They did something to her hair.
It makes it look like black ramen noodles.
Like a shit ton of hairspray in there. Like no, it's just supposed to look natural and poofy and like, no. It looks bad.
It looks really bad.
It looks really bad.
I hate when some freaking hairstylists get a hold of the like prettiest people in the world and can make them look ugly. It makes me so infuriated.
And my thing is that the whole thing about Snow White is beauty.
She's like one of the prettiest
not just beauty,
people,
like obviously,
or she's the fairest in all the land.
Yeah,
like the most pretty girl in all the land. Like. And you're making her look like she freaking burnt her hair.
Yeah. And also because her hair is so short, like she also Rachel Zegler is naturally a very skinny person. So
it makes her look boxy.
She looks like, at least in some parts of the trailer, she looked a little ill. And I don't know if it's because they tried to make her look paler or something like that, but she looked a little ill. And also the dress. We didn't get to see the entirety of the dress, only like bits and pieces of it throughout the thing. It looks cheap. It looks so cheap. My mom could do so much better making that freaking dress. My mom likes fashion. She could be a fashion designer if she was given the energy towards it. But
yeah, it's definitely looking like it's not going to turn out that great.
But I feel like I watched the trailer, and I'm like, okay, this actually doesn't look that bad. Like,
I think
the movie
quality,
itself.
I think like the plot and like the actual like, you know, like background stuff of the movie is like whatever, but is going to be like decent at least. But like the actual like cinematography, the production, the state, like the sets, the costumes, like I'm really worried about it, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I'm worried about the costumes. I'm really worried about the costumes
And the hair.
because yeah, I honestly like my thing is like okay, so there was this picture, if I can find it, I'll put it on the screen, of Rachel Zegler that someone took of her where she was in this Snow White outfit. People were like, "This is her as Snow White, like it looks so bad" or whatever, and I was really hoping that that wasn't what it is in the movie, and it is. If I can find the photo, I'll show it to you after this. But that is what is in the movie. But in the trailer, it's like the trailer itself. I'm actually, so I also saw like a little bit of controversy about the dwarves because I think there was some sort of like miscommunication of people thinking that the dwarves were going to be full grown men. There was like a picture of these like tall, full grown men walking in a line, and people thought that those were going to be the dwarves. The seven dwarves. That's what they're called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I thought that I heard that they were being casted as little people.
Well, that's that. I think in the very beginning, people were saying obviously it should be little people because that that's the story.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that in the trailer they're CGI.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're CGI. They're not. I mean, they're not real people because they have the animated features like the big noses and the like they're CGI creatures.
Well,
which is interesting to me.
I personally think that that was a great opportunity to cast little people, but that's okay, I guess.
I am like kind of like mixed about it because I do agree that like it could have also been fine with real people, real little people. Like in I don't know if you've seen the movie Mirror Mirror.
No, I haven't.
That
I did hear that's a decent one though.
I personally like that one. It is a Snow White adaptation. It has what's her name? Lily. You know Emily in Paris? That girl.
I don't know her name.
She's Snow White. And then what is her name? I always confuse her. Is it Julie? Wait. Frickin' frack. What's her name? I always confuse her with Angelina Jolie. They don't look anything alike, but their names.
Julia Roberts?
Julia Roberts. Yes. Julia. It's definitely not Julie Andrews.
Julia Roberts, she actually does know who she is. I will preface, we literally went to lunch in a restaurant where Julia Roberts filmed a movie.
I know. I don't know why I cannot remember her name for the life of me ever.
And Julia
but I should
Roberts,
because I know freaking Emma Roberts.
I was just about to say,
I
Julia
know.
Roberts is the aunt to the love of my life, Emma Roberts.
If you can't tell, heaven has a lot of loves.
Yeah.
The
girls in Hollywood just do it for me.
Yeah. Julia Roberts is the evil queen in that movie. And all of the
I like Julia Roberts. I think she's a good actress.
The seven dwarves are all little people. That's a good one. If you want to see a good Snow White adaptation, you should watch that one. It's a little bit kind of like creepy to some degree. There's kind of like this whole extra creature that's not in the original story. Which ends up I think being actually I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but
I just remembered another movie where they sympathize with the villain is Cruella. They give her backstory and how basically everyone hated her and whatever, and she was like a freak or whatever.
That movie is good.
That movie was really good.
That movie is a good movie.
Really good. I was just going on.
But yeah, it does sympathize with another villain, and she's a psychopath. Like in the original story, she's a psychopath.
I was just thinking for some reason I feel like that Mirror Mirror one, because like I know what you're talking about. My mom likes it. I don't know why I always thought that Snow White was played by Emma Stone, like not like looks wise or anything. Like I just feel like I heard someone say that, so I was thinking about her, and she's Cruella. So.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I think whenever it comes to like Cruella, I try to think that that's like the pre, if that makes any sense. That is how she got into her position, but that's not why she became evil. Crazy. Because there has to be something else that happened to make her evil, you know? Because the way that ended, yeah, because the way that the Cruella ends, it's like everything's working out for her. She has all of her money. She has her, she benefits a lot. And now she's no longer whatever name she was before. She's now Cruella. But she also kind of gives off a little bit crazy vibes at the end. Like, she's kind of a little bit crazy still.
I have a question. Are the Descendants villains, like, a part of the Disney universe? Because I feel like in all the different, like, adaptations, like, they all look different. You know what I mean? Like, there's, like, Cruella in the Cruella movie, and that's Emma Stone. And then the one in Descendants is a black lady. And then the one in the original one looks different. I'm just not sure if they're the same universe or like they're alternate storylines.
I think it's like another universe type vibe, because Descendants is like its own entity, because their stories makes no sense like
to the original ones,
original stories, because they can't all freaking be going to school with each other and then all want to kill each other. It just doesn't make any sense.
Because I was just thinking about it because I remembered Cruellaville and Descendants, and I was like,
yeah, because she's
that
black.
lady looks really different than Emma Stone.
Yeah. There's gonna be a Frozen 3.
I'm so excited for that one.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you're gonna be excited for that.
I'm a Frozen girl through and through. Like, I still have a folder from high school that has Elsa on the front of it. Like, I went and I saw Frozen 2 came out on my 16th birthday, and I took my cousin and our friend for our birthdays, because our birthdays are all in the same week, and or like not the same week, but like my cousin is the 12th.
Close to each other.
Yeah, my friend's the 18th and I'm the 22nd. So I went and saw that. Like, I love Frozen, so I'm really excited to see what they do with it. There has been talks for like since the last one came out that Elsa's gonna be a lesbian.
That is not gonna go well.
So we'll see how that goes. That would make me feel great, but
I don't think that's gonna go well at all.
I feel like either way it's gonna go bad, because there's gonna be the people that expected it and they're gonna be like what the hell, and then there's gonna be the people who are gonna be angry by it, and they're gonna be like, you're showing our kids gay stuff.
Yeah, I feel like at most they'll imply it a little bit, but they're not going to like.
I feel like they kind of implied it in the second one.
I feel like people kind of push that a little bit. I do kind of agree.
I think
but
it
not really.
Was like the implication of like the start of something. You know what I mean? Like there was like it like implied that there was like potentially going to be chemistry.
I think that it was like applied attraction.
Yeah.
Or whether that be like physical attraction or just like our energies are well with each other.
Like it was like it was implied that they have there's something at least like beginning to brew.
Yeah, I personally like really like Frozen concept art. I think it is beautiful.
I don't think I've seen any.
So they did do a concept art whenever they released this, and I'll show it to you later, I guess. But so they showed the concept art to kind of give like a little hint as to what it could potentially be about, and off in the distance, it's like, Elsa and Anna, they're on their horses looking off into the distance in like a forest, and off in the distance there's kind of like this castle type vibe, but like in the clouds, and it's glowing.
Oh, that's cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I love a good Frozen, but I think that after the third one they should end it. I really don't think that any movie series, like unless it's based off books, and then there's more than more than 3 books. I think if it's like its own story, it should end at 3, at very most.
Mm-hmm.
Like Toy Story should have stopped at 3.
Yes.
The ending to Toy Story 3 is genuinely one of the most beautiful endings to a movie. It makes me so sad. But it's so beautiful, and it wraps it so nicely up, and then they're like, let's make a 4th one.
message behind it and all
and
stuff.
Now they're making a 5th one. Which, like, why do they keep doing that? I don't understand. Like, the way that they ended the 4th one, if you haven't seen it, they leave Woody and he becomes a lost toy. Which, first of all, going back into
Woody would never be a lost toy.
Woody would never
be a lost toy.
He would never, ever. The only thing that man, with quotes on that because he's like a toy, but the only thing he prided himself on was being a toy.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna.
It's like, actually, I'm gonna go be a lost toy. No, you're not. Like, you're doing all this for a freaking girl that you haven't seen in years.
Like, really? Like, why couldn't they have had him convince Bo Peep to come back with him? You know what I mean? Like they took Woody so out of character for that movie. But they end it that way, right? The way he becomes a lost toy. But then in the concept art, because I did see that, he's in there looking at Bonnie on an iPad.
So how did that happen? I have no idea. But yeah, apparently we don't know what's going to happen in that story, obviously, but the concept art is the toys looking at Bonnie underneath her sheets with an iPad. So it's going to be like the toys
take on electronics.
And I don't know how they're going to make an entire story off of that.
I don't know how they're going to do that either, but again, I think that it needs to be left like in peace. Like it needs to be left alone.
They just should have gotten rid of the fourth one and just ended it there.
Yeah. Speaking of, new movies and whatever, Incredibles 2, how did that end?
That is a good question.
I don't remember how it ended, but I don't think there should be another one.
I love the first Incredibles.
The second one I liked much more.
The second one was okay.
I liked the second one way more.
It's not my favorite.
So funny.
I did not like it.
I like Jack Jack a lot.
I like Jack Jack too. I think the reason why I didn't like it is because all of a sudden there's all these new superheroes and they all have really stupid powers. But we're gonna be like,
I thought it was funny.
We gotta work together as a team because no matter how stupid our power is, we're still cool. No, your power is stupid, and you need to.
I thought it was funny. Like I genuinely kind of felt like they put the stupid powers there as like comedic relief to a degree. Like I feel like
because now it just has this like messaging behind it. That's something that I don't like about movies nowadays is that every single movie has a message behind it. Why can't we just watch a movie that is just purely for entertainment?
Yeah.
With like a little undertone of a message, like even the movies that we watched when we were younger has an undertone of a message, but not we have stupid powers, but we're still good.
Yeah, like even like a good example of like something that has like an underlying message, but it's still there for like entertainment is I don't think you've seen it, The Lion King 2.
I don't like The Lion King, so.
I love The Lion King. And the second one is about Simba has a daughter and Scar has a son. And this son is like trying to get to know Kiara.
Did Scar not die?
He adopted him before he died. And then his girlfriend, wife, lady was like raising their kids because they have like he adopted all of them, I believe. Scar just like adopted the cubs that got like thrown out by the pride.
That's kind of weird, but okay. Once again,
I don't know 100% if that like because there's 3 of them. I don't remember their names other than Kovu. Kovu, it's like said that he was adopted, but he looks just like Scar, and that's part of the reason that Scar adopted him. But the other 2 could very well be biologically Scar's kids, and I don't remember. I haven't seen it in a long time, but the underlying message is that Kovu is trying to get to know Kiara because they played together, and they were like friends, and then his mom doesn't want him to play with her, and Simba doesn't want her to play with him, and then they fall in love when they're older, and it's like kind of like whatever, but like the underlying message is that it's like acceptance.
Are they not related?
Simba and Nala technically would be related too.
Really?
Because either Scar is Nala's dad,
so it's a story about incest.
Or Mufasa is her dad. Well, incest isn't really a thing in the animal kingdom.
I know, but it's just
there's no other male
thinking
lion.
About that.
There's no other male lion, so who would be Nala's dad? Either Mufasa or Scar.
I don't want to think that deep into that, actually.
You brought it up. But anyways, the underlying thing is that they shouldn't have this preconceived notion of him just because he was Scar's son.
Like, I feel like there can be stories where like there's a very obvious message, but it's not stuffing it down your throat, if that makes any sense. Like WALL-E. WALL-E is such a good movie, and there's like a whole story within this message, but it's not saying, oh, we need to do better with the world. We need to do better with this. We need to do better with our bodies. We need to do better with that. No, it's just implied. It's there. If you can think, the message behind it, but it's not.
Moana's a really good version of that too.
Yeah.
Moana eats.
Moana is such a freaking good movie.
One thing I will never be doing in the entirety of the time that I live is watching the live action Mulan. They do my boy Mushu so dirty. They literally. That's the point. That's where I was going with it. He's not there.
He's not there.
There's no point. There's no point.
Instead, there's a bird.
Shane's not even there.
No one's there. We're not gonna get into that because we have a whole rant about that.
Yeah.
Okay, we should get into Moana.
What's wrong with Moana?
Nothing necessarily, except that I don't like it.
Oh, Maddie doesn't like it. I like it. I can't. I'm actually excited for it. It comes out like a couple days after my birthday, so.
Don't get me wrong. I am gonna watch it because I am like.
You don't have a choice.
I don't have a choice apparently, but I am gonna watch it just because I'm interested in it. And I like that they did age her up a lot. She is aged up a lot just because
And she's
now
little
she has
sister.
little sister, and that's why I want to watch it. But I also am like really hesitant about watching it because whenever whenever there's things about older sisters and little sisters, I get like a little bit emotional and sensitive.
Same.
Because we're both older sisters.
Yeah.
So
even though my little sister's a shithead, love you, Bailey.
But I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with it. But I just don't like Moana very much for some reason. Okay, I do have a reason actually. I don't like the music, and it's not just because I don't like musicals. I have a hard time with.
You know what I think it is? Lin-Manuel Miranda. He wrote the whole soundtrack.
That actually really might be the reason.
I don't like anything that he's ever written except for the Moana soundtrack.
You know, I think the thing that turned me off of it whenever I first watched it was the part where she's singing, you know, that I Am Moana song.
I am Moana!
That exact part. It wasn't a voice crack or something, but like whatever she did in that scene, it sounded so bad to me. I was like, how is this in the movie? I genuinely think it's that bad. And then I also really deeply, so much so, hate the song that she's singing to, is it Tafiti?
Yeah.
The volcano freaking scary ass lady.
Is it Teka?
Teka and then Tafiti.
Tafiti is the pretty one.
Yeah, and then even though they're the same
looks
thing.
just like Moana.
Yes, it does look exactly like Moana.
I think they did that on purpose because she was the one that put the
I would hope that they did it on purpose, because if not, then that's really sad on the animator's part. Yeah.
Honestly, I wish you were.
But yeah, the song where she's slowly walking up to Taka, and this creature is literally like growling, screaming at her, and crawling at her. And she's just like, I went through the ocean to find you. And I want it, like, every time.
You're
I
like,
literally...
Eat her! No, genuinely, I can totally understand that part. Like low-key, like, that is the dumbest response. This is a volcano giant human volcano shit coming to eat you. And you're, I came through the ocean to find you. Be my friend. Like, no, bitch, I'm gonna eat you. Like, what the fuck?
That's so funny. Oh my god.
That's one thing I can understand you on.
Yeah, so I don't like that. The only thing I like about that movie is The Rock, but I don't like...
I like the chicken as well.
Hey, I do like the chicken.
Icon.
He is an icon. He is a legend. Anyway, I will watch the new movie just because I'm interested in it. I am interested to see how it goes, but apparently they're gonna maybe do a live action of that. Right?
I'm pretty sure they casted
Is that confirmed?
it already. Yeah, I think they casted
That's
it already.
gonna be interesting.
I need The Rock with a gorgeous head of hair.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I need it.
He's gonna be constantly doing that because he never has hair.
Yeah,
He
100%. He's totally gonna. On another note, I wanted to talk about Percy Jackson a little bit because they also released the cast for the Grey sisters, the taxi ladies with the eyeballs. They released the cast for them.
Do you know who they are?
Not really. I can pull it up, but I think that they're like good choices. They're not to be like rude, but they're kind of creepy looking people.
I mean, the characters are ugly, so
the ladies are a little creepy looking, so I think that they casted them well. My issue is the guy that they casted for Tyson. Tyson is supposed to be like inhuman, like, you know, because he's a Cyclops.
Tyson's the brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
In like human years, he is supposed to be a little bit younger than Percy, but since like, and in Cyclops terms, he's literally a baby. And they casted a 30-year-old man.
Does he look 30? He's the like tall one, right? That they posted a photo with.
But he's 30, and I think that that's odd. I think he's
so
not 30. So
they're gonna twist it and make it him be an older brother. That's what's gonna happen.
I hope
because
not.
It would be really weird for that man to be younger than that other kid.
Yeah. I don't know. They better not.
It's gonna happen. The show is already disappointing you.
Yeah, Percy in the books, like Tyson is his baby brother. Like that's what it, like he looks out like, so he looks out for Tyson, like he really cares about Tyson as his baby brother.
Even
And
in the movie,
he's supposed to be like a more of a baby.
in the movie they seem to be about the same age.
Yeah. I think Tyson is like a little bit younger than Percy. Like a little like not a whole lot, like just like barely. But it's still like he sees him as like more of a baby because he's a Cyclops. He's a baby. Like how are they supposed to make that grown ass man look like be a baby?
It's not gonna happen.
And then they're gonna ruin his character too. Like they turned like Ares, they ruined in the freaking show too because like Ares like is like very like more of a comedic in the show, and in the books he's like literally an asshole. He's just a straight up asshole. Like there's nothing funny about it. He's just an asshole. I'm gonna watch the show still because I'm holding out hope that they make it better, and I hope that girl that plays Annabeth gets better at acting.
No offense, girl, but
her lines seemed very forced. However, I'm just not thrilled with their casting choice for that, and I think that a lot of their casting in the first season was bad too. So if they get greenlit for another season, they better pick a good choice.
Season?
Yeah, they better pick a good choice for Nico.
I thought they were already greenlit. Maybe that was for another show.
Season 2.
I don't know why I thought it was season 2 and 3.
No, I don't. They might have been greenlit for season 3, but I thought they were only greenlit for season 2. But if they get another season, they better pick a good choice for Nico, or I'm quitting. Because Nico is my favorite character. I love that man.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up just a little bit. So there's shows and movies like Avatar: Fire and Ash.
I need to leave that alone too.
The concept art of that movie actually does look a little bit interesting. I'm not that into the Avatar movies, like really at all, but the concept art does make it look interesting. Then there's the Mandalorian and what was it? There's another Star Wars Skeleton Crew, which I think is a show, and then the Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be a movie that's going to be in theaters apparently. But
I love Pedro Pascal.
I love Pedro Pascal as well.
He's also in the Fantastic Four, which they dropped art of him.
They're coming out with. He was looking
yummy.
I personally don't really like the Fantastic Four that much. I never got into that story. But whenever it comes to the Star Wars stuff, I'm honestly just that's really kind of ugly, honestly. I like Star Wars, kind of. I've never been that interested in like super like space sci-fi, if it makes any sense. What?
She made me watch 6 hours of the worst space movie I've ever seen actually 2 space movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Dune.
A waste of 6 hours of my life that I will never get back to look at a man who looks like a scraggly rat scream at me for 6 hours. Zendaya couldn't even make up for that.
Yeah, the Dune movies were pretty bad. Okay, I will say that Star Wars is more interesting than that, in my opinion.
Yes, after seeing Dune, I texted my father, who's a major Star Wars fan, and I was like, I have a deeper appreciation of Star Wars after seeing Dune.
I'm honestly surprised that Star Wars is still going and they're still making new content for it, but like bunch of content. Like a lot of content.
I feel like they're dragging it with the Star Wars content a little bit, but they're trying to keep the old, because like Star Wars is owned by Disney now, so they're trying to keep the like dads intrigued in Disney.
Yeah, I understand it. I'm just surprised that they're still able to continue to create these new stories. There's
so many Star Wars books though. There's so many, so they can like keep making different things that are like that like don't have anything to do with the original ones, and still like
it's just in the same world.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense if you're making it an entirely new galaxy. You have infinite options to make up new stories with new people and things.
He's always talking about how many books there are and how he wants to collect them all because he doesn't have them all anymore.
That kind of reminds me of there's the Tron movie coming out. Once again, I was not interested in Tron.
Is that the one with the like light up motorcycles?
Yeah.
I liked that movie when I was younger, but I don't remember it at all.
I don't remember it at all either.
Is that one Mandy Moore?
I have no idea.
Oh. Well, if that one is Mandy Moore, because I feel like it is, but I could be wrong. If it is Mandy Moore, I like her.
Okay.
Mandy Moore is Rapunzel.
Yeah, I know. They're also coming out with Daredevil. I never watched that show. I'm not interested in it.
I had a Daredevil action figure when I was little, though. That was really cool.
And then they also have Agatha All Along, which I am actually interested in that. If you've watched WandaVision, she's a character in that show, and
That's why I didn't know what it was.
they're doing a spin-off for just her. She's a witch. And it's going to be about her story and what she was, before the WandaVision happened and after, and it's going to be like all about like a coven and all this stuff. It's actually looks really interesting. It has the guy from that show that Bailey likes with the two gay boys.
Heartstopper?
Yeah.
Which guy?
The big ears.
The like main guy?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Charlie.
He's in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Bailey likes the other guy more, but the other guy from Heartstopper is in Romeo and Juliet with Rachel Zegler.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, they're coming out with Zootopia 2, which I'm interested in seeing that because Zootopia 1 is actually good.
I love Zootopia, to be honest. The only thing that's made me steer clear of pronouncing that I like Zootopia is the girls who like simp over Nick Wilde. That is so
That's really weird.
Weird.
That's really weird.
Genuinely, there are like a section of like girls on the internet that simp over like animal men. Like there's girls that like turn
like the
Scar.
The horse in Spirit.
Oh my god, yeah. Or Scar, they turn Scar into like this big, like muscular looking, like sexy dude. I'm like, if Scar was a person, he would be the most scraggly, ratty looking freaking man.
You think so?
Yeah, he looks like a rat in the movies. Have you seen him in Hercules?
I have. He's dead.
Yeah.
He's like a carpet.
He's like kind of a carpet. He's more like he wears him. Remember? Because he's doing the vase and he's got Scar on his head, and then he throws it on the floor.
That's so messed
and then
up.
the freaking and then the painter guy goes, I love Hercules. That's one of my favorite Disney movies ever.
Okay, well, we should wrap this up because it's going to take me a long time to edit this, and I also really have to use the restroom.
So, thanks for having me on again. This was totally unplanned.
Yeah, but you will be seeing Heaven more in the future because Heaven's about to move in again.
2 weeks.
Whoop, whoop.
I want to say that Bolt is my favorite Disney movie, and I was just thinking about it because we were talking about it, and that I would love if they made not another movie. I just want like a little short of them like living together. That would be cute.
Okay, that would be cute.
Oh, speaking of Disney, one more thing. Miley Cyrus is the youngest person ever to be inducted into the Disney. Is it Disney Legends or Disney Hall of Fame? And she said she made a speech and thanked Hannah. Said she was proud to be Hannah Montana and thanked Hannah and her fans. And then she quoted, "This is the life."
That's sweet and fun.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you want to have your story on the next episode, you can either email me at kindaunamusedpod@yahoo.com, or you can DM me at madrosepie on Instagram. I'm also madrosepie on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and you can also follow me at A Dandelion Days on Pinterest.
And then you can also follow me, and my stuff will be linked in the description below.
Yeah, so go follow Heaven, and also go follow me. Anyway, thanks you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all!